Alright, this is the second part of the video. Now that the part is dried, we're going to show you how it came out. We've taken the weight off, and this should come together fairly simple with that piece comes off. Now this may be stuck a little bit. We're just going to very carefully peel that back. And you can see that's why we used foil or wax paper would have been even better. And sometimes the foil will stick or the wax paper will stick, and you can just scrape that off. You don't want to scrape the paper. Look at that, that came out perfectly. So you didn't get bleed through like I showed you in the last example. It's because we had a very, very, very thin coat of glue on there, and within 30 seconds we pasted this, put it down and put pressure on it. Make sure your hands are perfectly clean when handling this. So I'm going to review what we're going to do now. Is we're going to put 10 top coats. This is a little different from you might have seen briefly in the last video. I decided you really want 10 very, 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 very thin top coats. You don't want the paint, the enamel, to soak into the paper. You really want it to rest on the top, because if it soaks in, it's going to bring out that wood grain through the paper. You see there's a little imperfection there. See, I might have just hit that with a little drop of water. You want to be perfectly clear so you don't get any imperfections, because it'll show up later. Alright, so we're going to do 10 very, very thin top coats. And what we're going to do is, it's very quick, shh, like that. We're going to go shh, one coat shh, at 18 inches away. Then we're going to hit it with our blow dryer for about 2 minutes on the medium low heat, about 8 inches away, 200 millimeters. Alright, and then we're going to hit it with another coat. This time we'll go vertically, shh, again 18 inches away. So we're going to do that for 10 coats. Not moving closer, not going slower, very quick, to get a very, very, very thin coating on this. Once we do that, then we'll be able to go thicker and thicker coats until we get about 1/10 of a millimeter, maybe a little less, coating. It's a very, very thin coating. And through the mystery of television, we're not going to do it on this one because I've already cut one out. So there you go. So we're going to do it on this, and then we're going to, because what it'll do is that if you do it before you cut, this will allow some of the paint to kind of hold the edge of the paper down. If you do it this way, you might lift the paper. And if you ever do get a little lift, you take a toothpick with a very, very tiny bit of glue, and you wipe it under there, very, very thin coat, and you push it down again with a clean something. You put some weight on it for a while. Make sure you wipe out any excess. Very, very, almost, you should no excess come out. So if the edges ever lift, you can do that. But once you get it in your chassis, the chassis is going to hold the paper in place, and this isn't going to lift. So this is the one that came out after an hour, and I don't want to set up a table saw and show you how we're going to do that. It's beyond the scope of this video. So here's one that's already cut, and here's one I've already completed. And this one, you see, I had some marks on it, so you have to be careful. This one is pristine. It's going to come out nice, and I just want to show you how well this is. There's water, and I'm going to put drops of water on there. See? It doesn't affect the paper whatsoever. It might be hard to see. Well, by the way, we're out in the mud room because the spray enamel has a very strong odor, VOCs, volatile organic compounds, and you don't want to stink up your house with that. It's not healthy. So I'm in a well-ventilated area out on a mud porch. So anyway, see, the water can sit there all day. It's not going to affect the paper. So you can wipe that away. Right? So it gives you a nice durable surface that if it gets dirty, you can wipe it down. It's not the most durable, but it's fairly good. So here's the one that we're going to try that hasn't been coated yet. All right, and we're going to follow this procedure, and let's do that now. So I've got my blow dryer over here, and we're just going to put that on low heat. Okay. Make sure you shake your matte clear enamel. Make sure you don't leave it out. It's a cool day. It's about 50 degrees out here today in New Hampshire. So this has been inside, so it's good. And you give it a good shake, and you want to shake it a couple seconds before each coat. Now watch carefully. I'm doing this upside down. I'm going to go real quick, 18 inches away. I'm up like around here. Okay? That's it. That's it for your first coat. Then We're going to put this on for about 2 minutes. We're going to get that first coat to dry. Get that first coat to be very dry. Again, if you put the first coat on thick, it's going to soak into the paper and you're going to start seeing the wood grain come through. If you want that effect, go ahead. But if you want this to look like a really professional panel, no smudges, don't touch it, don't touch the surface until we get a few coats of polyurethane, enamel. You can use polyurethane too, but enamel works better. Because water-based enamels, polyurethanes, will soak into the paper easier. So we're going to give that about a minute. We're going to move it around. You want to be about 8 inches away on your low, medium setting. If you can't hold your hand there, you're too hot or you're too close. If you can hold your hand there and it feels pretty warm, you're in a good shot. That's a good distance. Okay? And we're going to shut that off. So again, about 8 inches. If your hand is 8 inches away, and if you have to move your hand, it's too hot or too close. Again, the key was that very, very 18-inch quick spread. And then we dried it for about 2 minutes, so we don't have to wait the 10 minutes. We're not going to wait the 10 minutes until we get into thicker coats. But for here, we're going to do 2 minutes times 10. All right? So that was the first coat. Now the second coat, we're going to just go vertically. Same thing. That's it. And heat it. Not too close, you'll bubble the paper. You can come straight down if you want to go like that. Make sure your filter is clean, because you don't want to be putting fibers on this. So you're worrying about your fingers, you're worrying about cat hair and whatnot. So make sure that you've got a clean environment. I cleaned the filter, this is in good shape, and hopefully we won't get any contamination. If you do, leave it. Don't try to pick it off. See, on this one here, I had a little bit of contamination. I tried to pick it off and you can see it. It looks worse. So hopefully you can do this in the cleanest environment as possible. Okay. So, again, try not to get any foreign object damage or debris, VOD, on there. And so what we're doing, that was 2 coats already. So I'm going to do the remaining 8 coats, alternating horizontal and vertical, and I'm going to leave the blow dryer on, and I'm not going to talk, and we're going to do the 8 remaining coats, okay? So here we go. The blower is blowing away so I don't mix my 18 inches. Starts to lift up like that, you're too close. Don't let it lift up. Don't drop anything on it, you'll mar it. So don't drop anything on it, of course. Too close. Okay, second. This is the 4th coat. You notice you might start seeing a little bit of the grain come through. That means we're not waiting long enough and drying between coats and we're rushing this. So if you want to wait 10 minutes between this coat, go right ahead. Put on a movie that you like, that you've seen a million times, and every 10 minutes walk away and you'll get it done before the end of the movie. Like Animal House, right? Who hasn't seen that? Animal House. Go out, watch 10 minutes. It's not something you don't mind if you miss it because you've seen the movie a million times. And then, patience is the virtue here. You want to be patient with this. on high heat. This one's not too bad. This is a pretty low, so I'm on high heat here. As long as you can hold your hand there, you know you got a good temperature. You have to move your hand away, it's too hot. And if I forgot to alternate vertical and horizontal, don't worry about it, as long as you get some decent coats. The trick is to start your spray off and spray over and away. Don't start here and spray, you'll get pools of paint. You want to be able to spray across in an S pattern. Okay. And you can see, it looks like I hit that a little too close. A little bit of the grain is coming through. So, again, heat will make some of that go away. There it goes, it went away. Hit that little extra heat. So I got a little too close. We didn't get 10 coats on there. You got to get your 10 coats of very, don't jump the gun. Keep that thing up there 18 inches. That was a little bit of a longer of a spray. A little bit closer, but still about 18 inches. We're starting to build up a good layer where we can start putting on layers. I think that's about 7 coats. Close. Don't get too close. You'll burn the paper. Be patient. Okay. Here's coat, I guess 7. Okay, here's 8. Okay, there's coat 9. and coat 10. Okay, so those are the initial coats. That we got. Hopefully you can see this. So we did our 10 coats, very fine, about 2 minutes with a blow dryer. Then we're going to wait 10 minutes, and we can start going a little closer. Don't go any closer than 6 inches, okay? So we're going to shut that off. Okay, so 10, I hope you can hear me over that video. On camera you do it because I've already done this. So we've got 10 coats on there, and it's fairly dry. Still don't touch it. If you look, you're going to have to hold it up to the light. I'm not going to show you on camera. You should see a very thin coating on there, pretty evenly distributed, which means that we can start going to a thicker coat in about 10 minutes. All right? But if you want to be extra careful, do another 5 coats like this at the 18-inch level. It won't hurt. You can do all your coats. If you really have the time, do all your coats like this. But you can wait 10 minutes. And I'm talking the distance from the first 10 coats was this distance, right? About 18 inches. Your last coat is going to be like this, maybe 6 inches, maybe half the distance, 8 inches. But you're still going to overspray and do it quickly. You're not going to go real slow and build it up. It looks like crap. Even distributed coats, a little thicker towards the end. The more you can put on, you know, let's do one more just for fun. Let's do one more thin coat. 18 inches. Okay, I'll even go backwards because we've already done 10 coats. Now let's put a dryer on it. That may not be fully dry, but we can move that aside and let it air dry. So let's go back to the one I showed you that I started with. I don't know if you could see that, but you could see there's a nice shininess, if I can get it just right with the reflection of the light from the windows. You can see there's a shininess to it, and that's because it's perfectly sealed. See, I can touch this now, it's dry, and it's got about 12 thin coats and about 3 medium coats on it. And we're going to give it one more coat. I'm going to show you how to do a thick coat at the end. All right, and again, this one got marred, so you got to be very careful not to get any moisture or anything on it. This one had a little moisture right there, I could see, but we're not going to, you know, it's just a demo to show you that this is how we pasted it together. So we're going to do one last one showing that as you know, this is the one we're just doing now, but this one's been done up, and I'm going to do one thick coat at the end. And I'm going to be about 6 inches, and again, not too far away. Give it a double spray, and then we're just going to let, if you can see, that is really shiny now. But remember, this is a matte coating, which is almost a little bit flat, not quite flat as flat. It's got a tiny bit of sheen. You don't want gloss. Gloss is going to be too shiny, and it's going to reflect off of things. You're not going to see it. But always keep this level when you're doing it. And see, that's a big coat I put on there. But because I've got many layers of coatings underneath, it's not going to bleed through. And if you want, you know, to help the 10 minutes out, you can turn it on. Give that a minute or two. Just a minute. Makes it easier to handle. And when the shine goes away, you know it's pretty dry. You can look at it. Still a little bit shiny. So when you get to the thicker coats, when the shine goes away and becomes more flatter, then you know it's done. You're not going to see much of a shine on the first few coats. This is very, very thin. So we're just trying to seal it, and then we're going to actually coat it with protection. So we've done 10 coats of that. Let's just say it's been 10 minutes on this, air drying. I'm going to give it one more, a little bit closer now, maybe 15 inches, 12 inches. That's it. Let that sit for 10 minutes, and you're just going to keep building up coats like that until it's done. So in the next video, I'm going to tell you how to drill through these, because these are basically your drill template. And they're, because it's paper, you have to be careful. You have to use a really sharp drill, a wood drill. But we're going to go maybe use an X-Acto knife to help us. And it doesn't matter because mostly components don't, have a little flange on the outer end. So even if there's a little bit of a fluff of the paper or even a tiny tear, you probably won't see it. Again, we'll probably do it with this one because this one's coming out really nice. You can see a little bit of a grain coming through there. So we're going to hit that with some heat before it gets any worse. I got a button where I can hit cool at the end. I can cool it down. Okay. Again, you don't want to get the enamel too hot either because then it might start bleeding in. But this is the one that we're going to show the drilling on. So again, this is pretty much dry now. You can just drop water on that. It's never going to do anything. I let water sit on there overnight and evaporated by morning, and it didn't do anything. This is a perfectly good coating of polyurethane. It's never going to make your paper get messed up. Okay, we're just going to tip that off. And of course, you don't want to get water on the edges. That's just to say that when you finish your project and you're done with it, you'll be able to wipe this with a very, very lightly damp cloth. Let's dry that up. Okay, so stand by for the next video where we're going to start drilling and putting components on this.